Greetings everybody, Dragon here, and it is imperative that you watch this video before you start playing Witcher 3 The Wild Hunt. I am admittedly being a bit overdramatic, but because of the nature of what I'm going to talk about in this video, it feels necessary. What I am referring to is a bug concerning a specific free downloadable content for this game, that as far as I can tell, currently it isn't fixed. Meaning that if you want to avoid this specific bug, which by the way it isn't game breaking by any means, you need to follow my instructions to the letter before you start a new game. Now, the DLC in question is titled New Quest Scavenger Hunt Wolf's Cool Gear. And if you download it after you already started a new game, you basically won't be able to get the gear at all. What happens is that after you acquire the map for the treasure hunt in Velen, it will lead you to an old signal tower in Kaer Morhen, and in there you'll find a note in a chest that will guide you into opening a portal so you can reach an old cave beneath said tower. Once you get the note, you should be able to activate/find some crystals which will open the portal. But if you had the misfortune of downloading the DLC after starting a new game, you won't be able to activate the crystals or find the secondary crystal to activate said portal. You effectively become stuck, and you won't be able to get the first set of schematics for the basic gear, thing that will prevent you from getting the upgraded versions of the armor. Ironically, this bug won't prevent you from getting the schematics for the improved gear. So you can get all the schematics for all the versions of the armor except the first one, which makes it impossible to create the basic armor that is required to actually get the upgrades, since it is the basic material for the creation. By the way, this is not an unknown bug, especially for the developers of Witcher 3. If you don't believe me, just go to the old signal tower in which you're supposed to find the first set of diagrams, and in there you can find a skeleton, and if you loot said skeleton, you'll get a sword and a note titled Letter of Apology, that reads as follows. We all make mistakes, for to err is human. The key is to learn from one's errors. If something breaks, it must be fixed. And if our mistakes harm another, the injured party must be recompensed for his frazzled nerves and lost time. We thus apologize and ask for forgiveness. Evil is not what we do. Signed, CDPR. This will infinitely respawn every time you visit the tower, and you can just keep reselling it if you want. Now, I am not certain why they can't or won't fix this bug, but they are aware of the issue. My best guess is that maybe it isn't common enough for it to be worth fixing, not to mention that either with the viable DLC Blood and Wine or Heart of Stone, you should be able to acquire the armor and upgrade it without having the first set of schematics for the basic gear. But I can't corroborate this method as I didn't buy those DLCs. Also, at that point you might as well just delete the game and save files, reinstall it, make sure you have the specific DLC downloaded, and start all over. Otherwise you would be basically buying what was supposed to be free. By the way, yeah, you heard me right. I said start from the beginning, because by the time you can go to Kaer Morhen, you'll be near the end of the game. That's why it is important that you make sure you downloaded this DLC before you start playing. Something I wanted to mention and rant about is the fact that this specific DLC was released in June of 2015, a month after they released the game. So you were bound to come across this bug. It was unavoidable. Well, I don't know if maybe the bug came with a later patch, but regardless, it is still extremely stupid. Also, that in order for you to even be aware of this bug, you will have to be near the end of the game, which makes the prospect of starting all over just to get this armor infuriating and tedious. I do want to disclaim some things. First, in case you haven't noticed, I am playing the PS4 version of the game, so I'm not sure if this is a specific issue that only PS4 players have, or is something that affects all games across all platforms. Second, before I tried to get this armor by restarting the game, I deleted the game and all save files. Then I reinstalled it, making sure that this specific DLC was installed before I even started a new game. I mention it just in case that's what fixed it and not only restarting the game. Third, as I mentioned before, supposedly with one of the viable DLCs you can get around this bug, Although, as I understand it, you basically can either skip certain requirements for the building of the armor, or you can buy the armor itself. It doesn't actually fix the problem. And fourth, there is another method to fix this bug, but it's basically just starting the game all over again with a new game plus, which means that you will still have to play all the way through the game in order to even find out if the bug was fixed. And considering that Witcher 3 is a game that requires its fair amount of grinding, at least for me, it was a big deterrent from attempting to fix the issue this way. As a side note, if you want to see the actual bug, I recommend you to watch my previous video from 2017 titled PS4 Witcher 3 Wolf School Gear bug, DLC bug, in which I showcased the problem. I do have to warn you, I did a poor job at actually explaining what was happening, so hopefully you'll get a better idea with the explanation of this video. Also, yeah, took me a while to actually try this method of fixing the bug. Now, here is a step-by-step of how to get the first schematics for the armor in question. As you can see, first you have to go to Velen, and then go to this place called Lindenvale, which is east or right from the castle village where the Bloody Baron resides. In Lindenvale, in the area I'm showing you right now, you'll find a blacksmith, and when you talk to him, he will have in his stock an item called Slightly Torn Notes by Hieronymus on the Witcher Elgar, which will cost you 40 coins. Once you have it and read it, the scavenger hunt will be added to your quest. After, you just need to go to the nearest fast travel point and travel to Kaer Morhen. When you arrive to the Witcher's fortress, you just have to turn around and go downhill. Once you get to this point, you'll be able to see the old signal tower in which you'll find the notes to advance in the scavenger hunt. After you locate the tower, it will be a matter of making your way to it. Once you are in the signal tower, you just have to go in and climb up the old ruins. In here you'll find 5 chests, 2 barrels and a skeleton you can loot. You have to look for an item called Hieronymus Notes. That will allow you to advance in the quest. Also, as I mentioned before, the skeleton will have the letter of apology and a sword.
Might want to look around some.
After you looted everything, you will go down and find these 2 shrines for the crystals that activate the portal. As you can see, one is missing. To find the missing crystal, you just have to exit this area and go right towards the hole in what's left of the wall. There you'll find this old wooden structure, and when you climb it, to your right, in the same wall of the tower, you'll find the second crystal. You should be able to pick it up without much issue, but be careful either way. Once you have the crystal, go back to the shrines area, and when you place the second crystal, you will only need to activate the 2 crystals with the sign Ard. When the portal appears, you just have to jump in. Again, it shouldn't be too hard, but be careful regardless.
Right, now to activate it. The door's open, but it looks unstable. This one cell's not enough. It works. Who would have thunk?
When you have gone through the portal, you'll land in a cave beneath the tower. Use your Witcher senses, and near the exit of the cave you'll see something glowing red. Once you approach it, a wraith will appear. Defeat it and loot the area you saw glowing red. There you'll find the first set of diagrams for the woven armor. That includes the chest, bottoms, boots, and gloves. And yeah, that's about it. Hope you enjoyed the video, hope to see your thoughts in the comments, and I hope to see you next time. Goodbye.